Sure, I kind of introduce myself. Okay,
Perfect.
cool, cool. All right, so Julia, tell me something about you that I would never know unless you told me. Just your who, what, where, especially your why. Your why.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so I am originally from Aruba. I moved to LA in 2016. I speak four languages fluently. um, and I moved here to do film and to work in the film industry.
Wow. Okay. So there it seems to be a little bit of lag between.
Oh no.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Yeah,
Oh no.
there's a little lag here. Yeah, so wherever your Wi-Fi is not as strong as we want it to be. Okay, let's try again. So go ahead and speak because there's like a maybe a tenth of a second delay. Wave your hand. Wave your hand. Now you're froze. You're frozen.
Hello? Oh wait, you're muted. Hello?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can't.
Okay, so was that me or you that froze?
I don't know. It both did. I don't
Oh
know.
wow.
It's
Okay.
okay.
Okay. All right,
uh,
let's make sure I'm recording here. This is getting off to an interesting start, huh? Okay, we're recording. Okay.
I know, right?
If you can, start all over again. So you moved from Aruba four
Yes,
years
I
ago.
moved from Aruba to
How
four
many?
years ago to do film.
Wow.
I yeah, my goal is to work in the film industry and to I wanted to when I started out, I wanted to do acting, but then I realized I was more passionate about being behind the camera and developing. And then lately it's been on my heart and I'm like, I want to be a showrunner because I love putting stuff together and like being in like the unscripted world, especially maybe a little bit unscripted for a while and then move into scripted. But yeah, I'm really passionate about producing and putting stuff together and seeing the project through. I
Oh
love
wow.
that.
So you studied what 4 years ago when you were graduating? Or was it high school or I mean,
Ye-
what was your journey from
yes.
Aruba to California? Was it
So
was it,
in Aruba, I went to like this fine arts school. And it was just like a 1 year program. It's like you got to like see what you wanted to do and specialize. But I'd always loved theater, so I was more excited for the theater program. And then I moved here and I went to Glendale Community College to do theater. And then I graduated there with my associates in theater arts. And then I transferred to CSUN and then I did entertainment media management and I graduated like 2 weeks ago um, with my
that
bachelor's.
that is one of the best
So
stories because
yeah.
yeah, most of my interaction with the community colleges have not yielded a lot of 4 year transfer to getting to a place where people are even graduated. I would love to tell you that you are a unicorn. You are absolutely an outlier
Oh,
because
thank you.
a lot of folks is not, well, a lot of people I know, a lot of people of color, a lot of people in the digital media career pathways. It's going to get really interesting to see how many of the people that are trying to matriculate through education to workforce to actual placement in the industry can actually tell that
Yeah.
story of how they made it through. But yours is a little bit more, complex and global because you came from Aruba. Are you born and raised in Aruba?
Yes.
Wow. So
Yeah.
what was your inspiration for taking this route from Aruba to Glendale Community College? I mean, how did you determine that? I mean, what
Um,
was that?
if I could be honest, my mom and I we joke about it, but it was a plan. I was 8 and I told her I wanted to move to the States and she thought I was kidding and then I kept saying the same thing because in Aruba in school we learned Dutch like as our native language in school. So like our whole education system is in Dutch. So because I was so serious about it, she took me out of the Dutch school system, put me in private school so I can get English. And then we worked on a plan to get me here so I can like live my dream. So every day I tell her, I was like, even if I have a bad day, I'm still living my dream as my childhood dream of what I wanted to do. So I'm so grateful to even be here.
Oh man,
But yeah,
big up to
I
mom
always
because
wanted to do it.
big up to
Right?
mom. Big up to mom. They talk about it takes a village. No, it takes a parent that
Yeah.
is invested 100%, 1,000% to be part of that plan at the earliest possible age. And
Yeah.
that's what So my whole reason for existing is to try and make sure that I attack a problem and find a solution to getting more parents and more people connected to a child at the earliest possible age to create a strategy so that they can actually
Yeah.
find a way to match that student's capacity, their talent, archetype, anything that can help to build some strategy around that student's ability to invest into the plan, buy into the plan, but it has to start at the very earliest ability for them to ideate and to be able to
It
kind of
does.
see how they can then put in all the work themselves at
It
that age.
does.
Because the plan's never going to really work until, they have 100,000% buy-in from the young person. Because there's
For sure.
so many things that I know with the millennials of today, and now the generation alphas, who have derailed a large part of the plans that they may have even had with the pandemic, social justice, all those things that have
Yeah.
happened to really, kind of destroy people's not only mindset and, kind of redirect their skill sets, but really it's kind of given a lot of the emphasis on being more insular, more into self, and not to really think about anybody else other than you. A lot of people
Correct.
are very that I talk to are. I was watching a YouTube video that LA Times Studio put out, and it was titled "The Class of 2022," and they interviewed I think 12 high school students who
Hmm.
talked about various things, that have happened to them since the pandemic. These were the first group of students who grew up in the quote unquote digital age with cell phones. And most of them
Yeah.
got cell phones at the age of 6 and 7. And
Yeah.
the one thing that I took away from that conversation that they had, they asked them all the same questions. And out of the 12, I think 9 of them said that they didn't want to have kids. They asked the question, do you want to have kids one day? And 9 out of 12
Yeah.
said, no way. I can't ever imagine myself being a parent. But yet somebody was a
Yeah.
parent to them, probably or possibly. And in your case, you definitely had a parent. So my
Yeah.
question
For
to you
sure.
is, could you ever conceive having a kid or a child based on where you are at the state?
Um, a lot of people have been asking me this question lately. And I think no. Yeah, I really,
Okay,
but I know
that's
it
good.
goes against like my reasoning for being on Earth. Um, but I feel like when you have a kid, you have to be mentally ready to have a kid. And I don't see, like, I love working and I love my career. And I also got to like be a nanny for 3 years to work with the family. And how important it is to have your parents involved in your everyday life. And I can see like with the way the job that I want to do is a job that's like very busy and it's very like on, you're not really present.
Yeah,
Because
it's
even when you're
100%.
on
It's
set, you're
100%
not
accurate.
really, yeah, you're not really present. And it's like I see people do who like they can sure run and they have a family, but there's always a gap. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's I think it's a little bit selfish to not think about that. So I think for me now, my answer is no,
Yeah,
because I
okay,
want
that's
to
real.
mostly like be more career. But
That's
I
good.
think maybe later I might rethink it. But for now,
Yeah,
it's a no.
that's
But
real.
yeah,
Okay, cool, cool. All right, so career. You said you want to be a showrunner. Is there any particular
yeah.
kind of content that you want to specialize or that really excites you? If you think about the
I
genre.
recently worked on a show, Friday Night Vibes, that was unscripted, and I liked how unscripted it was, but also how free it was. So I think I do like the realm of unscripted right now. That's been really interesting to me. So that's what I really want to do. Is probably a little bit unscripted, and then maybe get into scripted. Um, but yeah, so I think unscripted, but like to be a showrunner, I think that's cool because I like producing and I like putting ideas together.
Okay, well, great. Well, this is I'm going to cut across the field and talk to you about what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. Um, I
Okay.
have a program called well, it's actually a product called Brown Bag TV, and Brown Bag
Mhm.
TV was conceived by an executive at the time. AT&T had just purchased Warner Brothers. It's now owned by Discovery,
Okay.
but at the time it was designed around executives who worked in tech, AT&T, and T, and Warner Brothers, who wanted to have impact on young people who had interest in the career space of tech and creative. And they said, well, the only way that they could actually have the kind of impact they wanted is to do a brown bag lunch. And the brown bag lunch
Mhm.
could not be done physically because they're so busy. The only way they could do it is at their desktop, on their laptop. And they
Yeah.
could actually come into
Yeah.
classrooms and literally have topics, not speaking to people about, how great it is to be in the industry and, how they made it, but actually to try to mentor those students by getting them to really focus on what they could share with these mentors about their ideas, their vision for success. And the brown bag lunch
Yeah.
experience would be done at 12 noon at lunchtime because that's the time when most people take out time for their lunch to, provide
Yeah.
nutrition to themselves. And it's the only time I know that I could actually reach out to influential people, C-suite executives, very powerful people, showrunners, and say, hey, can we
Yeah.
grab 10 or 15 minutes of your time during lunch to have you impart some wisdom on this group of people that you potentially marry very well with because they want to be showrunners. They want to be a designer. They want to be something that you can speak on as to what the requirements are going to be from their viewpoint and who they could actually envision
Yeah.
hiring as a production assistant. And so it would really talk about
Correct.
concepts, not talk about theory, but talk about somebody who could actually allow these people to have two-way communication. And that
Yeah.
brown bag experience was something I wanted to do between a group of students who would be virtual producers, they would be graphic artists, they would be social media managers, they would be people running camera, sound, and light. They would be the brown bag TV crew, and the product, Brown Bag TV, will go out to an over-the-top television system to a audience of other students. So literally, it
Yeah.
would be a television program made kind of with students doing all the production, but it would be directed to students who would want to see students engineering and completing this particular episode and then putting it together not only in post production but then being able to package it so that it can become literally a way for people to download tactics, tips, and techniques from that episode about that
Correct.
particular point of view for students who are interested in what that particular episode was about. And so we had all these
Yeah.
different people lined up to do this. And the studio that we were going to use was Kevin Hart's studio. We were going to actually produce
Oh,
the
cool.
show. Yeah, we were going to produce this as part of what we were doing for Heartbeat is to have students get real world, real time experience in producing a product in the studio. But we were going to stream it live, and we were going to use most of AT&T's infrastructure. They were going to give us the throughput so that we can stream it with almost a fiber optic link that would allow us to have as much bandwidth as we need, so there would be no latency, there would be no bandwidth
Oh,
restrictions,
wow.
and then we could produce this
Yeah.
product as something would be commercial, and it would be a television
Ooh.
program that would go to the marketplace, and at some point, if we get to work together, there was a concept called Channel One. Channel One was maybe 20 years ago. It was called Cable in the Classroom when cable was real big.
Yeah.
Cable in the Classroom was a product that labeled programming that come into the classroom via cable contributors, and they actually had
Mhm.
real advertisers and public service announcements that were really directed to youth product line. So they didn't have any
Yeah.
soft drinks, any tobacco, but all the content as well as the PSAs were all income generating, so that the program can actually not only make money for the cable network, but could actually give advertisers and sponsors who could connect to young people, could give them extensions for them if they wanted to do recruitment or career fairs and all kinds of other activities. So it was a really big umbrella for students and things that could happen inside of the classroom to be exported to a place where people could look at that data and then track that data as the engagement, how many people were watching at any particular time. And it was really the business of the business of, at that time,
Yeah.
broadcast in a classroom environment.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do, is to make sure that I put something out that really does look like a product that can actually, again, be a case study for all the things that we can learn about how to stand up a real operation that's going to allow people to look at all the different roles, traditional as well as emerging roles, and be able to make sure that this program, again, from semester to semester, from year to year, becomes sustainable. And this is what
Yeah.
I've been working on for about 6 years. So that's what it is that I want to try and do, is really create programming that can be newsy. It could be going to to conferences when things open back up and you have these industry conferences. We have journalists that
Yeah.
can go inside of the conference, interview key stakeholders, keynote speakers, and all the people who are the industry leaders talking about industry inside baseball. And that way,
Yeah.
our crew gets a chance to not only interview these people and meet them, but extract that information and send it back out to the student network. And so
Correct.
the whole idea of going to conferences was really how students could get acclimated to where the industry is going. That's what happens in these conferences, not in the classroom.
Yeah.
And
No.
that's why I met Anna Marie. I met Anna Marie. She was a keynote speaker at a panel that has basically, been kind of destroyed by pandemic. It was called Digital Hollywood. I would ask her, if you get a chance, ask her about Digital Hollywood, because it was a twice a year experience in LA.
Mhm.
Twice a year experience in LA, but it was also connected to the Consumer Electronics Show. And she was always booked as a keynote speaker talking on topics. And so they never really got the student channel connected to a student audience the way that I envisioned it. But that's what I want to do. And I want to make sure that it is done on a month-to-month basis, but it's from 12 to 1 o'clock, and it could be 15 minutes or it could be up to an hour, where we lock down all of everybody's attention who wants to know, again, news, tactics, techniques of how they can get more inside information about getting into that industry. Because my deliverable is how to get an internship, a paid internship.
Yeah.
And so I've been able to find, as a missing piece to my delivery, I've been able to find the city and the county of Los Angeles who offer up a $15 an hour stipend for people to learn all the skills and the mindset to be a production assistant. And that's the first job
Yeah.
you're really going to get. Unless they're you, they're going to be a production assistant somewhere. I don't think most people envision themselves as a production assistant once they graduate, but for the most part, I think that your first job is not. People don't normally hire you for your dreams and for your ambitions; they hire you for theirs. And so, I'm going to make
Correct.
sure that I can get people paid to start learning how they can be relevant to a production as an assistant, as somebody that's going to be relevant to the day to day, and getting that $15 an hour paycheck is what I'm going to be doing starting literally in 2 weeks. And so the first thing I
Okay.
wanted to do is ask you, what is your age?
Oh, I'm 27.
Okay, so the goal for this program is to attract 18 to 24-year-old people who live in LA
Okay.
City because they qualify for the financial stipend. So I'm going to find as many people that are willing to take the instruction to learn how to produce
Okay.
this program for 18 to 24, so I can pay them. They will
Okay.
get,
Got it.
they get 20 hours of work readiness experience. They get caseworkers, case managers, excuse me. They get social workers, so in case they need things like food stamps or Medi-Cal or child care or anything else they need to stay focused on the task, they will have these wraparound services. What I have to do for people who are over 24, I have to find sponsors that will help to underwrite the production costs so that I can actually pay everybody who's going to be working on the project. Because if you're not getting paid, it's really hard to retain your interest as well as your
Yeah.
attention. So
Yeah.
my goal right now is to make sure I have the budget and all the resources to stand this production up. My question to you, I guess now, since now you're not in the age that I can at least pay you the $16 an hour stipend, do you have
Yeah.
any paid work lined up for yourself right now? Any paid work starting today?
I do. Somebody reached out to me yesterday to coordinate a show. So I'm just waiting to hear back from them. And then I also am supposed to be flying to Savannah, Georgia to work on, I don't know if you know, he also works at Heartbeat, Johnny Mac. I don't know if you know Johnny
Yeah, I
Mac.
know Jenny.
He
Yeah.
wrote a movie. Yeah, so Johnny is directing a movie, and I worked with him on a job not too long ago. So he was like, "Come and direct," and not direct, but like assist and direct and like all of this, and like, so I'm supposed to be working with Johnny Mac soon in Savannah, but I'm waiting to hear back from them. I think I have to reach out to them this week, to see when that will start. So I do have some like paid work lined up. I just haven't started anything. I'm
But
just like
before,
taking a
right,
break
right, before
from
you
the
take on,
last job
right,
I did.
before you jump on a plane and go anywhere,
Yeah.
I'm going to have you meet a gentleman by the name of Lamont. I was thinking about having him on the call, but I'm going
Okay.
to suggest having a conversation with him as
Okay.
well as. Did you send me? I can't remember. Did you send me your CV, your resume, or any reel on your work?
No, I didn't. I don't have a real. I have a resume to send you.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, it's still there.
Oh, I don't have a reel, but I have a resume.
Okay. Send me your resume because Lamont has about he has three different studios that he does work inside of. And this guy, he's an amazing resource. I mean, he was a producer, a casting director at MTV, the first black one for 16 years. Now he's working on so many different projects. But he is probably one of the few people that I know who has paid work on productions here in LA right now. So before you take on anything, I'd like to see if I can line up a conversation with him and you about anything that could work in LA, because I want to keep you here in LA.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I've worked at Heartbeat Studios like a handful of times because I work with Leslie Small. I don't know if you know Leslie.
Well actually
but I've
this guy that we're going to talk to, his wife, his wife is a cousin of Leslie.
Oh, so yeah. So I worked with Leslie on a lot of, he mentored me throughout like the industry and all of that. So I've been learning from him. So we've done stuff at Heartbeat and all of that. So yeah.
Great.
Small world.
So, yeah, I mean, small world. So what I'm going to do is send me the resume, and what times are you available so that I can just do a real quick conversation between you, and Lamont, and then you guys can take it from there to see if there's anything that he can think of that can get you to work on some stuff in LA immediately. Because he's got three. I know he said he has
Yeah.
because the stuff that he has is a little bit too advanced for the people that I'm working with, the 18 to 24-year-olds I'm working with. So this
Yeah.
could be a way for me to make a match between you and some people that are looking for talent right now.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'm
Yeah.
literally just not doing anything.
Okay, so send me your resume. I'm going to send you
Okay.
Lamont's information so that you can,
Okay.
again, have that beforehand. I'll call him. I'll text him and see what he can do to tell me if we can do a quick, talk conversation sometime this afternoon. Okay.
Okay. Yay!
Okay.
This is exciting.
Yeah, I have one other guy who he was not only at Laugh Out Loud. No, he was in Laugh Out Loud. What's Kevin Hart's film production company?
LOL.
No, not the radio. Not the. His name is Shane Norman. I just talked to Shane today. When Kevin Hart's organization was with Lionsgate, the film company was with Lionsgate. What was it called?
I haven't met Shane. Oh,
the film division.
I don't know that one.
Okay. Well, this guy was the VP. He left that division 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's the one. I think. I don't know that. I know some people who work. I know Candace. I know she works like with the film. Like she's in charge of like his film department. And I also know Jeff Flanagan.
Right.
So I've like met a handful of people.
So Jeff, he was the VP working under Jeff in the film division at Lionheart. This guy. So I just talked to him today at 4:30, and
yeah,
I shared with Shane, and I'll send you Shane and Lamont's information. They're both working on film projects that I'm interested in because, again, I always want to make sure that I have, for my pipeline, I have things that in case I find people like yourself who are more advanced that I can, basically hook up. I don't get anything out of it other than the success story of making the connection. And so the more I can connect people, the more I have a chance of making sure that, when you get a shot at, hiring on and crewing up, you might take some of the people from our crew, from our pipeline.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, so that's how it all works out. So send me that resume. You can text it to me. Just text me your resume or email it.
Okay.
But I'm going to call Lamont as soon as we get off in a few minutes and see if we can have this call. But I'm talking to Shane again at 4:30, and then I'm going to mention to him that I met a young lady who is the pedigree and the profile of somebody who's looking for some impactful work right now. And more unscripted. I'll mention to them unscripted program.
Yeah, I'll do anything, but I like the idea of unscripted.
Okay.
I like the setup and how everything works. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be great.
Before we break contact, do you have any questions, suggestions, or comments for me?
No, I think this is really, I like what you're doing. Because I also wanted to, I had a concept once and I was like, I think it's important to get people to come, especially people in the film industry, to talk to people about what's, how to get in and how to get connected. Because it's like, everybody keeps saying, yeah, like you have to like, network, but it's like, how do you network? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's always hard, but if there's a program like what you have where people can come and learn and then get into the industry, it's not as bad as what they make it out to be. So I like kudos to you for doing this because this is really nice and it's really great, especially like I just graduated and I have no idea what to do.
Right. Well, so again, this is I guess I would not just say my passion. This is my purpose. This is what I was born to do, and I'm convicted. So I don't know very many people who do this. I've been doing this for 30 years. So started in the music industry, but more importantly, I want to continue to becoming the best talent search firm that ever existed for people who are under not only represented, underserved, under the radar,
Yeah.
underappreciated, but under. So we can get over.
Yeah.
All right. So hey, so I
Yeah.
will. So let's. So again, thank you for jumping on, and I will connect back with you shortly with follow-up calls for Lamont Pete. You and I to talk, and possibly.
All right.
But I'm going to send you. I'm going to text you instead of emailing. I'm going to text you their LinkedIn. Okay.
Okay.
They have information on it. Okay. Hey, do you have a LinkedIn? Do you have a LinkedIn?
I'm sorry.
You have a LinkedIn.
I do, but I don't think it's updated. I haven't put anything on there.
Okay. But just make sure you send me your resume though. I just want to have something in writing that I can have.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you in 20 minutes because I think I have one more job to add to it. And then I'll send it to you by 2:00.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Juliet.
Thank you so much for meeting with me. I appreciate this.
No problem. Good looking out. It's all my pleasure. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right now. Bye-bye.